welcome. In this video we're going to go through making the triple fold gift card wallet. It's a great big file. It's made with cardstock, and the decorative panels I've just done in a light scrapbook paper so that it's not so bulky when you're folding it up. And it's got a lovely closure band which keeps it all nice and pretty, and you can put whatever sentiment or a photograph, or you could do that in foiling on the front. And inside you can put a store gift card, lotto tickets, or this is in place of a photograph, but you can put photographs in here, or little sentiments to wish a person a happy birthday, etc., and notes on the back. It's all up to you what you'd like to do. It's a good idea to start off doing everything flat. So we'll do the envelopes first and we'll put the layers on. It's so much easier to do them while they're flat instead of once they're actually formed into envelopes. So we've got 3 envelopes which you can use for gift cards, or a gift card and 2 photos, or a wee note if you'd like some memories or notes, or even just as your card itself. So lining up with the score lines so it's nice and even all the way around. You can do the score line just so you can see it a little bit easier if you like. So you can see and make sure you get a nice all the way around. Nice bit of glue around all the edges. And the third one. It's also a good project for using lotto tickets as well. You can basically use it for anything you like. It's just something that's nice and small and not too bulky. So if we bend it backwards and do our score lines, and making sure that it's nice and lined up with the top lip, otherwise when you have it this way it's going to look untidy. Now the best way to glue these up, normally if you were doing an envelope you would do it that way so it looks tidy this way, but as we're going to be gluing it to the base, and we want the cards to be easily inserted into the envelope, if you've got this little bit up, it always tends to catch on this. So since we're not going to see the back, we want to glue it this way. And you're going to find it, you and your recipient's going to find it so much easier putting the cards and photos, especially photos, you don't want those damaged on that little lip. So just a little bit of glue down one side. You don't need a lot, just enough to get good closure. And then one on the bottom flap. And the same for the other 2. those sides in first. Now next is our band. It's the same this way and that way, so it doesn't really matter. If you put it on first, get a good gauge of how much allowance it is. So if you've got quick drying glue like mine, you want to know where you're going to put it because you haven't got much time to move things around. I use the art glitter glue, and it's a really fast drying glue. Now while it's a wee bit wet, it's a good idea to give it a bit of shape now, because you're going to be wanting it to go around the wallet. If you don't give it a little bit of easing now, it's going to crunch around and bend not quite that nice when you put it around. Now we'll put that on last. I'll tell you why later. So we want our good side of our base and put our front flap on. You've got 2 score lines there, so just get it nice distance between all those areas there and between that first score line. Now, the 2 score lines can be quite tricky to bend, so it's always good to use a ruler. So put it on the first one and just ease it up from behind, and then on the second one. And with that double score line, it's just going to turn, once you've got the thickness of all the envelopes and the folder, it's just going to sit nicer with the 2 score lines. Just ease it nicely. A bit of a flat edge there. Now, if we do the score lines and train those a little bit so we can see them, but especially on this darker card, make sure you're lined up. Don't want it crooked. Now, we'll place our first. You want to left or right? I put it right. Most people are right-handed, well the majority are. I'm left-handed, but hey. And work out a nice center. So I've given it a little bit of an extra allowance just so it looks tidier from the outside. If you had something a bit longer, you've got enough room there to place it to the left, so you can put up a photo or whatever that's just a little bit longer. Give it a good amount of glue because you've got quite a stubborn little envelope that'll need to be held fast. So don't do it sparingly. And push that glue right out to the edges. Now you've got your base one to line up the other two. So this one's this size, then this one gets a little bit bigger, and then this is the largest one, just so when you fold it up, it doesn't all scrunch up. So the allowance on either side is just going to be a little bit more than the next one, and then again for the next one after that. So just look on that side and make sure you've got, that's your main straight line here, instead of worrying about whether this is the same as this, because it's just not going to be. Again, good amount of glue. Tidy up any glue that oozes out. Real good push on all those sides, just so that the envelope gets glue right to the edge. Otherwise it's going to lift off and look a little bit nasty. And the last one. So then, see with the extra little bit, then this one folds up nicely, and that folds there, and it's nice and smooth without bunching. So next we'll make our band. We'll put this on last. If you put this on last, then you don't have to worry about whether this is up the right way, because if that's already on there, then you've got to make sure you're gluing it right. So put that on last. It's a good length band, so if you did want to put bulkier things in here, it's got a good length. You don't need to make it longer. So this is nice and thin, we want to put it right on the band. If it was a bit bulkier, then put it to the end. But always give it a test around your wallet to see where you need to place it. If you're having trouble, you're not too sure where to put your glue, you can just get a pencil and mark around here, so then you know exactly where to glue. I just put my fingers there, and then I know I want to put that much glue there. Get it nice and centered. And you can put your badge on, whether it's another photo, or you can foil a little badge or change it to any sort of greeting on the front. Now if we close this up, I want it to sit down just a little bit so it sits on this blue, but it looks a bit nicer than sitting on there, but it's a personal preference. You may like it different than what I like it. Train it nice and smooth around there. Now you don't want it to be, you don't want to do it absolutely tight as you can, because once they take it off, if it's too tight, you are not going to get the band back on. So if we've trained that and we know it's going to be, it's going to be around about there, and just get your ruler and go a mil or more above and do it that way. Give it a wee test and just see if it's easy enough to get it back on and off. It's going to be quite loose. It's not supposed to be ultra tight. I've made it the length so that it is perfectly with that. When you're gluing it, just make sure that your edges are nice and straight there. Doesn't need a heck of a lot of glue. Just enough to seal the band. Press down, and then you can test it out. There we are, and there you have it. A nice happy birthday triple wallet.